Monday. Happy Monday. Listen, look at you popping in. What's good, Donald? Lady J, you are in Aurora. That's right there at Denver. I'm very familiar. Andrew, what's good? Boy, I'm seeing my students. Chris, Mike, good to see you. Happy Monday. Christian, happy Monday to everyone. Listen, today is going to be a special addition to our normal YouTube channel. Doing something different today. I'm actually going back in my history, and I'm going to talk about my history in Quartet. I have some pictures, so you guys are going to laugh. I have some video clips, so you guys are going to laugh. You'll see Jerry curl. You'll see pork chop sideburns. You'll actually even get a chance to see me singing. As well, I'll be kind of touching on some of the stuff that I was playing with different groups. So I have my guitar here, so I'll be able to show you different things, just like we did the clip. And I was playing with the Canton Spirituals, and I was doing Heavenly Choir, or they were singing Heavenly Choir, and some of the key licks in the song that has to be there. Mr. Mitchell, thank you for the thumbs up. So I'm going to share that stuff, even conversations that I've had on stage. You'll see a conversation I had with Willie Banks at the end of the song, at the end of a song, and he said something to me, and I almost fell off the stage laughing. I'm telling you, he was hilarious. A lot of people was kind of afraid of Mr. Willie Banks, but listen, he was hilarious. He was a great singer. Excuse me, amazing teacher. Hey, Alicia, good to see you. I'm gonna cover when I was with the Mighty Clouds of Joy, when we did we went into the Hall of Fame in Nashville, Tennessee, when the Mighty Clouds of Joy was inducted into the Hall of Fame. You'll see clips from that. You'll see some pictures of me playing with them. Some hilarious stuff. I'm telling you, I went back and I started looking at the pictures and all the stuff that we did back in the day, and it's hilarious. You hear me? It's absolutely hilarious to see the way I looked then and the way I look now, and even some of the stuff that I was playing. A lot of the stuff that I was doing with these different groups, just like I was playing with the Cantons, and I played with the Supreme Angels, and I worked with Willie Banks The Messengers, the Gospel Keynotes, the Mighty Clouds of Joy, and so many other, the Blind Boys. I worked with the Blind Boys of Alabama, recorded with the Zionaires. But I want you to see my foundation, where all of this stuff comes from that I'm doing today. Because if it wasn't for quartet music, I wouldn't be anywhere or wouldn't have the life that I have right now. So I owe quartet everything. I owe God first. But quartet music gave me such a platform. Hey, Dr. Lowe, good to see you. Quartet music gave me such a platform to open up different doors for me to do a lot of different things, even including doing the summit. If it wasn't for quartet music, I would have never started the summit, because I would have never met Sugar Hightower, who was part of the Supreme Angels, which was part of the quartet. So, it's great to get this stuff and play this stuff, and that's great. But understanding the foundation to me, is valuable. It's priceless. So I decided today to take a moment, and something that I don't ever do, is go back and talk about my history in quartet, or my history in music as a whole. So if you would, like, share, and hit that thumbs up button, because the more you hit that thumbs up button, the more family we can bring in. Thank you so much for those who are doing it already. But we're gonna cover a lot of funny stuff. So stay with me, because I promise you're gonna laugh. I promise you're gonna laugh. So just a brief history, real quick. I started out in the Kojic church because my father was a pastor, and we had a really small church, and so we had to be the band for the church. My brothers started out playing first. I wanted to hang out with my brothers because I thought they was the coolest dudes in the world. So they were playing guitar. So I said, in order for me to hang out with them, I'm going to pick up the guitar. But it kind of stuck with me. So even through school, Here's a little picture of me in high school. In high school, I was actually I was actually voted most musical because it was two things that I loved to do. One was to play football, and the other was playing guitar. But the guitar actually won out. Look at the afro. I had that Michael Jackson thing. I had a Michael Jackson thing going off. Can you see the? Yep. So I was in New York. Yes, I mean Quartet, Mr. King, Mr. Brown. Yeah, I knew. See, listen, I knew you guys were gonna laugh. I'm gonna put the picture back up there. This is me in high school. This is hugging that eagle. I'm from Amityville, New York. Amityville, New York. So behind the scene, you can see the old school, and we were the Eagles, the Warriors, but we had little eagles out there in front of the school. So when I took the picture, I was holding on to that eagle. So that's where it began. That's where it began for me in school. I loved football, but man, music was it for me. I got a taste of that football. See, look at you. Mike, I told you guys, I knew you guys were going to laugh. I'm telling you, you have to stay throughout the whole thing because I have some pictures. I have some situations, some stuff that was going on that, I mean, even to this day, I still laugh at. Yeah, we're going to cover some guitar stuff. You know, I'll show you how I approach playing Heavenly Choir and different things. Remarkers, stop laughing. I'll show you how I approach playing different songs with these artists. So you're not going to miss out on some tips that I'll have for you. But today is going to be kind of the history of me doing quartet stuff and how I got in, who I work with. Here's another picture of, I think I wasn't even in high school in this picture. I'm telling you, it's so funny. I was playing with a group. Hey, Melvin, what's good? I was playing with a group in New York called the Zionaires, Charles Cook and the Zionaires. And we took this picture for well, actually back then we used to sell pictures at the program. So they would, see, look at y'all, Miss Mitch, y'all are crack, I told you. They used to take pictures, so when they go to the program, they would sell the pictures for like $1, you know? So everybody wanted pictures of different groups. So, you know, groups would have little 45s, and then they would have their pictures they would sell. So I stayed with the Zionaires for a few years. That's where I really kind of cut my teeth in gospel, in quartet. That's really where I kind of dug in with quartet, because Mr. Charles Cook, he opened the door for me. Hey, Brazil. He opened the door for me to be able to really kind of dig into learning quartet. He taught me to learn everybody's music. Hey, how's it going, Richard? South Africa, good to see you. He taught me to learn not just the groups that I was playing for, but he asked me to learn everybody's music. So he would bring me to his house and play these records of every group. What's up, Ray? What's good to see you, man? Stop laughing. Stop laughing, Ray. And he would play all of the different quartets. My father was a big quartet person. And he had a lot of albums and 45s, but Charles would make me sit in his room, Charles Cook, sit in his room and learn everybody's music. So once I got an opportunity to go out on the road, I was familiar with people, different groups' music. Thank you, James. I would be familiar with different people's music. So the first major group that I had an opportunity to play with, I played with Shirley Caesar for a day, and then she fired me. So I really can't count that. But I went with a group in 1980, a group called Slim and the Supreme Angels. And I have a picture here of us. This is a picture of us at a concert in 1982, I believe it was. See the pork chops? Those are Elvis, the Elvis pork chop sideburns and the afro. So that was back in 1982, and actually this was the album that we did with the Supreme Angels. The album was called Sunday Down South, okay? So if you look, you can see the names of the different ones. The producers, Shannon Williams, yep. Executive producer, Larry Blackwell Sr., recorded in Nashville. Photography, it was done at Park Center. Rick Perry. The musicians was Al Dent, Sugar Hightower, myself, Kevin Cloud, Freddie Berry, and Derek Lee. Now, Sugar's portion didn't come in until after we had did the live part. He came back and overdubbed some guitar stuff, and when we went back into the studio to fix some stuff. The vocals was Reverend Howard Hunt, Daniel Scott, Tommy Seymour, Greg Kelly. All were singers on that particular project. And I even have a clip. I actually have a clip of us doing something back in 82. Actually, it was the recording back in 82. Now, the sound quality is not that great because, we didn't have the technology that we have now. So you won't get that great sound quality, but you'll be able to hear it. That was back in 1982, and the album was called Sunday Down South. The album was called Sunday Down South. Okay, here is the live version of that. Here we go.
Thank the Lord for being so good to me. When I was living in poverty, I know my Jesus came to see about me. That's the reason I thank the Lord for being so good to me. Thank the Lord for being so good to me. I just want to thank the Lord for being so good to me. When I was living in poverty, I know my Jesus came to see about me. That's the reason I thank the Lord for being so good to me. Thank the Lord for being so good to me. I just want to thank you, Lord. I just want to thank him. I just want to thank you, Lord. I just want to thank him. You've been so good. I just want to thank him. Save my soul. I just want to thank him. My feet got light. My feet got light. My feet got light. My feet got light. Started me to walking right. My feet got light. Started me to talking right. My feet got light. Got in my hand, yeah. The Holy Ghost moved. My feet got light. 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 Oh, yeah. My feet got light. Let me tell you that I just want to thank the Lord for being so good to me. When I was living in poverty, I know my Jesus came to see about me. That's the reason I thank the Lord for being so good to me. One more time, thank the Lord for being so good to me.
You know what? Even to this day, hey, what's going on, Hero, Amy, Jerry? Even to this day, I think that line that they came up, the guitar line on that song was brilliant from even back then, because it was... that's the guitar line. That was the opening line to that song. It was playing in B minor. And that's the way that song would start out. And I thought it was brilliant. Who I think Sugar actually came up with that line. Sugar Hightower ended up, I believe he came up with that line to that song. But I thought it was brilliant. And I always loved playing that song. There was a lot of stuff that was going on in there. And Slim always made sure that these key parts was played. So the stuff that I was playing wasn't random. This was stuff that had to be played in the song, that was listened for. He would listen for these different runs, he would listen for stuff like, all of that stuff wasn't stuff that I, was randomly playing. That was stuff that was required to be played. So there were patterns that was going on, and we rehearsed all of this stuff. So it wasn't anything that was just happenstance. This was actually structured lines that had to be played for these particular songs. And with Supreme Angels, even with Willie Banks, there were certain things that you had to play. So after being with the Supreme Angels for about 5 or 6 years, I ended up leaving the Supreme Angels and going to play with Willie Banks and the Messengers. And here go another picture. Y'all ready? All right. Please. Please don't laugh too hard. This is a funny one, though. This is a funny one, y'all. Here we go. Yes, that's me with my hand on Willie Banks' shoulder. This is Willie Banks and the Messengers. Back when I was playing with them, it was myself, Mickey Martin. Mickey Martin is the one in the center standing up. Mickey Martin was the first drummer in quartet music. Mickey Martin, the one that's standing center, was the first quartet drummer in gospel music. He was the very first one. He played with the Brooklyn All-Stars. Yeah, I know y'all laughing. Y'all get a laugh. Ron Lee is standing up there. He was the bass player. Below him is a gentleman that sang with the Nightingales for many years after he left the Messengers. His name is Calvert McNair. He passed away. Ron Lee has actually passed away, and Mickey Martin had passed away too. Yep. And the young man sitting in the middle, his name is Maurice Sorrell. Maurice actually spent many, many years with the Jackson Zionaires. I don't know if he's still with the Jackson Zionaires, but before he was with Willie Banks, he was actually one of the Williams brothers. He actually was the drummer for the Williams brothers. That's Maurice Sorrell. He was the drummer for the Williams brothers, and of course, the one that's standing up under me or sitting under me is Mr. Willie Banks. This was about, Remarkers, this was about 85 or 86. I was thinking around 86 because I actually have a clip that I am going to play where you'll be able to hear exactly what's going on. Is that a Jericho? Let me have it, y'all. Let me have it. It's all good. So this is the Messengers. This is when I was with the Messengers. Here's a clip. I want to make sure I have the right clip. This is a clip of us doing an outdoor event in North Carolina. There was an event at a ballpark we used to do every year. And this is the event. And like I said, the volume is going to be kind of low because technology back then is not like that now. They don't have the phones like they have now. So you'll get an opportunity to see me playing. And if you watch at the end of this clip, at the very end of this clip, you'll see Willie Banks lean over and say something to me. And I absolutely fell out. out. Don't you say Soul Glow. Don't you say. I knew you guys were gonna let me have it. Okay, this is the live clip of me with Willie Banks and the Messengers. I dare not tell you what he said. I dare not tell you what he said. I dare not tell you what Mr. Willie Banks said to me that made me laugh so hard. But it was hilarious. It was hilarious. If you listen to that song, it was in A, and I would play 1 to the 4. A triad. And then I was doing something that I heard the Manhattans do years ago. They did a song, Shining Star. I would play. Then I would play the melody or the background. And then play that little Manhattan's tune. So if you listen, go back and find that video. In the beginning of that song, you'll hear me play that line and then go back to, you know, just to give it some flavor. And I think I played something at the end. At the end of the song. It's a little minor pentatonic scale. Like that. Okay? It's crazy. Hilarious. You guys are having a ball with my Soul Glow, but that's cool. That's cool. I knew it was coming. I knew it was coming. Lady J, I didn't know you were going to be so hard. I think that's payback from the other night when I got on you guys, you guys Zoom. But it's all good. It's all good. So I learned so much from Mr. Willie Banks. I'm telling you, I learned so much from Howard Slim Hunt, Pastor Howard Slim Hunt. They taught me how to be more disciplined in my playing, because everything that we did, we had to play a pattern. They didn't want you playing outside of that pattern, because a lot of times the stuff that they did was based on the guitar pattern. Because you remember back then, well, if you could think back to those days, keyboard wasn't as prevalent as it is now. Everything was based around the guitar. So you had to play your patterns. You had to play these things for them to recognize and to feel their changes, where they would fall, okay? Because some lead singers had a really bad timing. A lot of the lead singers had, Kwame, what's good? Happy Juneteenth to you. A lot of these lead singers had really bad timing. So it was almost like them trying to jump in, but if they didn't hear the cue, it would throw them totally off. So I spent some time with the Messengers, and once I left the Messengers, I ended up going with the Gospel Keynotes. Now, the experience with me and the Gospel Keynotes was really, really different, because I was so used to playing a pattern and being so disciplined in the music. Going to the Gospel Keynotes was such a change, because in that music, they weren't real big on pattern. Me and Val would play stuff together, because I was playing with Val. It was me, Val, Larry McCowan, Ricky Boston on drums. Clifford Brower would play organ or keys at time, and we had different people coming in and out playing keys. And the singers was Jeffrey Newberry, Charles McClain, and Gino. Gino was the other background vocalist, and then Perry Taft was also helping singing lead. So we had Wilson, North Carolina. That's good. We had that's actually where that concert was filmed at with Willie Banks. So going to the keynotes, this was the very first album that I did with the keynotes, and a lot of people didn't know that this was me playing guitar on this album, but it was me and Val playing guitar on this particular album. And this was the album that I did, the very first album that I did with the Gospel Keynotes. I'm not on the picture because when I recorded this, I wasn't with the group. I actually was with the Mighty Clouds of Joy when I recorded this particular project. But this was the first project that I recorded at Malaco Music, and I met Frank Williams and all of those guys in the studio, and I was as nervous as all get out. But the album was This Is Just a Rehearsal, and I played guitar on this project. A lot of folks say, "Wow, who's that guy playing guitar?" That was actually me playing guitar on that particular album. That song was actually really big for the Gospel Keynotes. The album did really well for them. Playing with Willie, I'm telling you, he was such a free spirit. The way you guys would see him on stage was the way he was off stage. He actually gave me my nickname. He gave me a nickname, and he started calling me String Man. That's where I actually got the name of my company, String Man Music. Came from Willie Neal Johnson, and he started calling me String Man, and I had a ball playing with the Gospel Keynotes. We traveled quite a bit. We had more dates. I think between them and the Mighty Clouds of Joy, I did more dates with them than I did with any of the other groups that I had been working with previously. But I got a chance to work with them for a few years. And then what I did was, I went home. I went home for several reasons. I wanted to try to raise my kids because I was traveling so much, and I wanted to be stable and spend time with my family because I had traveled most of my life. I had already been traveling, and I learned a lot of stuff, and I worked with a lot of different guitar players. I met Howard Carroll on the road, the Dixie Hummingbirds. I met Spanky. I met some of the greatest guitar players, Sugar Hightower, Al Dent, a guy by the name of Tree that played with the Highway QCs, Bobby McDougall, all these guys that were to me, guitar idols for me. I had an opportunity to meet and spend some time with and learn from these musicians. That's why I say to each of you, the foundation is where you want to go. When you want to learn this quartet stuff, find the foundation. Find the guys who play the stuff. Because what happens is when it's passed down, it becomes watered down. And you don't get the true essence of the foundation of what they're playing. So what you want to do is you want to go back, and this is all part of a lesson I'm sharing. You want to go back and find that foundation. So I went home for some years, and I came back out because I got a call, and I was excited because this particular group I wanted to play with when I was a kid. But my parents wouldn't allow me to leave and go on tour because they tried to hire me when I was 16. They wanted to take me out on tour, or 15 or 16. And my parents said, no, you had to finish school. Hey, what's up, Adrian? My parents said, no, you had to finish school. So I actually got a call from this group right here, the Mighty Clouds of Joy. And this was my ultimate group that I wanted to work with. And in the picture you'll see to my far left, it's Richard Wallace, then Joe Ligon, Michael Cook, and then Mike McCowan singing background as well. On drums is Johnny Valentine, and playing bass Richard was playing bass. Yeah, so Richard was on bass, and I think Lemanuel Boykin was playing keyboards. Lemanuel Boykin was playing keyboards. And this group actually took me all over the world. They took me all over the world. I've been places that I dreamt about. I spent 30 days in Spain and Brazil, and I spent time. Somebody from Brazil was on here. I don't know if he's still on, but I was in Sao Paulo, and I did the soccer stadiums. We did shows with Tower of Power. We did the Olympics. We did so many amazing dates, playing the Astrodome and different venues that you often see on television, but not actually have the opportunity to perform in these different places. And that's why I say I owe Quartet everything, because it opened up doors for me to meet you. Because without Quartet, I would never have met you. You may not have never heard of me. But because of God first and Quartet music, it opened plenty doors for me. That's why I don't understand sometimes when I read different things that people say about Quartet music. It's not the music that's wrong. Sometimes it's the people that's involved in it that makes it bad. You know, not saying that is bad, but different things that happen, and that happens in all genres. I just seen a situation where a major artist was kicked off a tour, because of fans. A major artist was kicked off of a tour because of fans saying something. So in any genre, you're going to have situations, but listen, Quartet is it, man. I'm telling you, you learn the foundations, the fundamentals of Quartet music, you're going to be a really strong, solid guitar player, because it teaches you discipline and patterns. Discipline and patterns, if you learn it correctly. If you go back and listen to albums or go to YouTube and pull up Howard Carroll or the Dixie Hummingbirds and listen to the stuff that he did back in the 70s. Some of the lines that he did, I still play some. I try to play some of them. That's that minor move. That right there comes from him learning that, and I use it often. And then I'll play minor. diminish. See, all of that comes from people like Mr. Howard Carroll, Spanky Alfred, and all of these guys, Dwight Gordon, all of these phenomenal musicians who laid the foundation for quartet music. So I encourage you guys to go back and study. And even the stuff that I'm doing now, I try to keep it as authentic as possible. Do you have to move with time? Absolutely. Absolutely. You cannot just play that stuff. You have to learn that stuff, understand that stuff, and also take it and make it your own and make it relevant to today's music. So you'll be able to take those minors and be able to move them around and make them feel good. Most R&B guitar players, I'm not saying all, but most R&B guitar players come from where? From gospel music, come from Quartet. Chris Payton, Eric Walls, Jairus Mosey, all of these guys came out of Quartet. Spanky, Isaiah Sharkey, all of these great guitar players came out of quartet music. Why? Because it teaches you discipline, it teaches you patterns, it opens up your mind to the possibilities, okay? But what you're going to have to incorporate as well is some theory to give you the idea or understanding how to find things all over your fretboard. So I'm big on that. So I have a clip I'm going to share with you. I did with the Mighty Clouds of Joy. I think this is it. And we were live in Nashville, Tennessee. We were being inducted into the Gospel Music Hall of Fame in Nashville. But we did a performance, and this is the Mighty Clouds of Joy. It was me, Ork Ewing was on bass, Lemanuel Boykins was on keys, Johnny Valentine was on drums, Ron Staples, Richard Wallace, and who else? Joe Ligon, and it was someone else singing. It might have been either Mike McCowan or Mike Cook singing on this clip. But here we go.
Who know you ought to put your hand together when I tell you, heavy low, I got rhythm, heavy low, shout again, heavy low, y'all, heavy low, let me hear ya, I got rhythm, heavy low, wait a minute, somebody know what I mean tonight, when I talk about a heavy load, I'm talking about that heavy load of sin. When I call that day that you went down in the water, I want somebody that's been sitting all night, haven't moved yet. I want somebody to get up out of that seat, walk down this aisle. You need to shake my hand. Just stand up, walk on anyway. Somebody told me the other day, I heard them say, this is what they said. Good God Almighty, on a Monday, I got rhythm. Yeah, do you say your name? On a Monday, I got rhythm. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. You know, the picture quality was horrible. That's actually, I posted that, Mike, I posted that video on YouTube about 10, 11 years ago, and it has like 2.2 million views. That has 2.2 million views. People love quartet music. They love Joe Ligon. They love the Mighty Clouds of Joy. I'm going to show you the line that I played. If you listen to that line, there was a line that I played in that drive. And it was like... line in heavy load. But I'm telling you, I've learned so much. I've gained so much by being in Quartet. I'm telling you, you can't go wrong. You can't go wrong. And that's just a brief, um, a brief history on my playing quartet music. Because I'm telling you, I skipped a whole bunch of stuff, a whole bunch of information. But I wanted to come on and share my history in quartet music so people will understand where I came from and how I think and where my approach and my theory about music and all of that good stuff came from quartet music. Find that great quartet music. Find those great guitar players. Study those guys and break down. And you can come back here so we can break down. And even on my website, kevinwilsonguitar.com, kevinwilsonguitar.com, I'm sharing different approaches and different things that you can use, not just for quartet, but for any genre. You can take these lines and play them with any genre of music, but you have to learn what it is first. Learn how it's used. Learn how it's built, and that way it will open up the door. A lot of times musicians say, "Well, I'm in a box. I'm in a box. I'm in a box. I can't figure out how to get out of this box." Well, the box is closed on you because you don't understand what you're doing. You may not even know what you're playing because there's a lot of great guitar players that's out there playing right now that's playing some killer stuff. They don't understand what they're playing. And that's why they say, "I'm in this box. I can't figure out how to make this do this or do it." Killer. Mike, you are welcome, man. Listen, I knew that you guys was going to get a laugh from some of those pictures. And because I laugh at them even now. I wish I could get down to that weight. Man, let me see, where was that picture at? I wish I could get down to that size, boy. I thought I was something. I was that dude back there. What was that other word? Look at that. Boy, I was smooth. I was smooth with a lot of hair and pork chop sideburns. I'm trying to grow my beard back out now. My wife, she says, as long as you keep it soft, it's gonna be okay. I don't want you gruffy. But listen, that's my history. That's just part of my history. That's where I cut my teeth. This is where I he said Miami Vice. I'm gonna get you, Chris. I got pictures of your group too, so don't play. So with that, I can play all that stuff. I can play all of that because I have the foundation. I understand how these things work. I understand the major scale. I understand how to build chords. I understand how to expand. I know how to play extensions. I know what the chord extensions are. I know how to play melodies. I know all of these things because I've studied, I listened, I put in the work, and I trusted the process. Are you willing to trust the process? Are you willing to really do what it takes to get your playing to the level where you want it to be? Or do you want to take that shortcut? You want to get that ear candy without understanding how ear candy work. Don't be that one. Don't go to those microwave teachers that's going to promise you that you're going to play like George Benson in 30 days. It's not going to happen. George Benson didn't get it in 30 days. Okay? So don't do that. Don't trust that process. And I'm not trying to down anybody who's teaching. But go to those ones that's teaching you from scratch. And teaching you how to understand how all of this stuff works. You need to understand how it works. You can't take the shortcut home if you don't know how to get there the long way. You can't, because you don't know where you're going. So I'm encouraging each of you, and I'm thanking you for being here on my live. How many people I got on here now? I have close to 50 people. Don't trust that shortcut. Trust the process. It may take a little longer, but once you lock it in, it's there. You'll be able to play your guitar without playing your guitar. You'll think about what you want to play. You'll understand what you want to play. And when you pick up your guitar, you'll be able to figure it out. When you hear music, you'll listen to it differently because you'll understand how it moves, how it works, you'll hear numbers. And that's kind of different. You'll hear numbers because you know the number system, so you know how these things are moving. Oh, thank you, Richard. Listen, let me tell you something, Richard. Stay with me. I have a lot of great things that's getting ready to come down the pipe. I'm going to share with you guys very soon. That's really going to help your playing. It really is going to take your playing to that next level. And I don't like to use next level, but it's going to make your playing comfortable for you. Okay? The things that you hear in your mind, because a lot of times we hear music in our mind and we want to figure out how do we make this work here? Well, knowing your instrument and knowing basic theory, knowing how chords are built and how things move is going to take you to that level. That's why, and I was able to go from a novice to playing with some of the greatest artists, quartet artists in the world. Some of the greatest quartet, Joe Ligon, Willie Neal Johnson, Harvey Watkins. Still work with Harvey Watkins and the Canton Spirituals. Went out with them on last Friday. We did Dillon, South Carolina. And I had a ball playing with them. He is another one that comes from the old school but has a new feel. He has an understanding about music and how it evolves. So he's not just stuck on the straight traditional. His mind is open to so many things, and he's a great guitar player, which a lot of people don't even know. Harvey Watkins is a great guitar player. He plays a custom 24 PRS. He's a great guitar player. So he hears, like, we were doing something, I think we was doing I Made It on Friday. And I was playing something like, and I went, and then he said, he turned around and he was laughing, he was smiling, he's like, where's my big chords? And when he said that, I knew to go. I knew that's what he was looking for, because his ear is just that good. He wants to hear what he called those big chords. Those are the things that he wanted to hear. So, but understanding, that comes from understanding your lead singer and understanding when they say certain things, what they're looking for. Where did I get that from? Slim, Willie Banks, Willie Neal, Joe Ligon. Quick thing about Joe Ligon, I have 5 minutes left. Quick thing about Joe Ligon. We used to do a song by, what was the name of the song? Nearer My God to Thee. If we didn't play a certain line on that, Joe would miss his cue every time. And I'm not sure. I'll do it in A. He wanted to hear that every time. So we play. for these cues so he would be able to catch his timing, because he did not have the very best timing, I should say. He didn't have the very best timing as a singer. So he had to be cued. He had to be cued, and our lines would give him that and then he knew he was coming in. So things like that is important to know about just your lead singer or anybody who you're working with. And even like in the Willie Banks clip, you've seen him telling me different things. And if I go back to the clip that I did with the Cantons, that was in Atlanta. You can see Harvey walking over saying different things to me during the concert. Because the other thing that happens with Quartet, there's not a set list. It's not a set list. You know, they really read the crowd, so they want to know what the crowd is feeling, where are they going, or how can we, you know, make the people capture their attention. So they really don't do a set list. There are certain songs that they like to do, but if it's not conducive to your crowd, and you don't want to lose them, so there are certain things. I'll go back to the Cantons here. Now, I want you to watch how Harvey operates on stage. Watch him and how he's actually have control over everything that's going on stage. Harvey Watkins has control of everything, and everybody is watching him. Watch the group, because everybody has their eyes on Harvey, even when he's not singing, for different cues, okay? So just check this out. And this is great. This is amazing.
Gentlemen, help us welcome again to the Spring Fest, none other than the Canton Spirituals.
I'm saying? He has complete control over what's going on stage, but you have to pay attention. Even when he came over, he told me the name of the song that they wanted to do next because he was watching. If you can see, he was actually even pointing to people out in the audience. But he's watching to see how people are reacting and what should he go to next to capture the audience attention. And even when Heavenly Choir was over, he nodded at me to start the song right away because he wasn't going to talk. So just to go ahead and kick off the song was searching. Let's see. And like, that's it. It's all of that stuff. And you can take that and use that same line. That's the line. Let's see. That's the line. That's the line. And that has to be there because that's part of the song. That's what Dwayne laid that pattern. Listen, I'm going to stay on for a couple more minutes to answer some questions. How many people I have on here right now? I have 40 people on. You have any questions for me? Please type your questions in. Listen, I need for you guys to hit that thumbs up button. Hit that thumbs up button to let folks know that you're liking what's going on here on our channel. It helps. YouTube likes to say, hey, they're doing something great over there. Let's send more people that way. So do you have any questions about Quartet, my upbringing? Musically playing the Clouds different. Yes, the Clouds was more open. The Clouds was more contemporary. Actually, the Mighty Clouds was the first gospel artist to perform on Soul Train. So they did the song, see. It's time. That was real big back in, I think, the 80s, late 70s, 80s. And they were the first gospel artists to go on Soul Train. And yes, it was definitely different. When we would go overseas, Paul, we had a totally different concert than we had when we was in the States. We would do songs like Wind Beneath My Wing. It would be so many different songs that we do. Night Song. So many different, like even Time. We would do Time overseas. We would have to do Oh Happy Day, because when you go overseas, one of the biggest songs overseas, I mean anywhere, in any country, is Oh Happy Day. We had to do Oh Happy Day everywhere we went. And we wasn't even the artist that recorded it. But they wanted to hear it, because that was really big. So, do we have any more questions? Yes, they did. Yep. What was the song? I forget the name of the song. Midnight Hour. Because you can hear Paul Beasley sing at the top on Midnight Hour. Yes, he did. Roger Troutman and Zapp. Yep. Sure did. Exactly right. Sure did. And they did other songs. A lot of people don't even know different songs that the Mighty Clouds of Joy was singing background on. Just like the Blind Boys of Alabama. They are doing material on commercials or movies, soundtracks. What was the best advice that Spanky gave learn what you're playing in more than one place. So if I play it, he said learn it in different places. He would say that. Learn it in different places. Don't learn it just one way. Learn it all over your fretboard. And keep your mind open to all music. Keep your mind open to all music. Okay, he says, I've always wanted to know how the different groups rehearse. How was rehearsal with the groups? Or the memories of it. Yeah, the memories did stick. All right, let's start with the Supreme Angels. I wish I had that clip up. I could actually show you. I don't know if it allowed me to do that. Hang on one second. I'm going to try to do something while we're on here. I'm going to see if it'll work. Because you asked a great question, and I actually have a video clip of where we used to do our rehearsals with the Supreme Angels. If I have it here on my phone, I'm going to try to send it. Let's see if I can send it to... Hang on. Y'all bear with me 1 second, because I want you to see this. This is good. That's a great question. That's a great question. It's funny because Harvey and I was talking about this. We were talking about this Friday because we were in the town, excuse me, where the Slim built his first church. This is taking a minute to download because I wanted to share this with you guys. I'm going to tell you the least rehearsed group. The least rehearsed group, I can tell you this, was the Mighty Clouds of Joy. We never rehearsed. Only time we would rehearse was right before a recording session. But outside of that, I can't remember doing a rehearsal with the Mighty Clouds of Joy. I can't remember doing, outside of preparing for a recording session, I can't remember doing a rehearsal. Now, I was hoping that this would load so I could get this to you, but it's taking a minute. Rehearsal with the Supreme Angels was hectic. It was hectic. It was harder than doing any concert because Slim was a guitar player. So he heard everything. He would hear every detail, just like Harvey, just like Willie Neal. Willie Neal played guitar. Willie Banks just could hear. But with Slim, he was almost like a tyrant when it came to playing lines. He wanted you to play these lines. You had to play these lines. If you didn't, he would know. He would look over. I'm telling you, you couldn't hide. You could not hide from Slim. Howard Slim Hunt. You couldn't hide from him. He would hear it. He would know if you played it or not. So being in rehearsal with them, and we were rehearsing in Goldsboro, North Carolina, at one of his homes. He had two homes. He had one home. Hey, Harvey. He had one home that he lived in, and next door was a house that he had for the group. He had this house had probably about, I want to say 7 bedrooms. Seven bedrooms, huge house. The house had like 3 floors. And we would rehearse at the house in one of the rooms, or we would rehearse in the hallway. That's how big the house was. We would rehearse in the hallway. And he would come through, and we would actually already start rehearsal. Then he would come walking in there, and he would listen at what we're doing. He said, "No, son, this is not right. I need you to do this." And then sometimes he would say, "Al," he says, "will you show him, what I want, what I'm talking about?" And then when I play something that he liked, he's like, "Yeah, I want you to play that." Like one of the songs I would play like that. and he loved to hear that. He would love to hear it. He could feel the rhythm of that. So he would tell me, say, yeah, you play that. Now, and I heard them actually use it on that song that they did, Over Yonder. They would use that line. You know, I'm not sure if that's the key or not, but that was the move. Willie Banks, we would rehearse in his garage. He had a big old house in Raymond, Mississippi, and we would rehearse in his garage. He had like a maybe like a 3-car garage. It was huge, and we had most of the equipment up in there, and we had to unload everything. When we did rehearsal with Willie Banks, there was our PA system, our amps. I was playing this humongous PV amplifier that had a phase shifter and all. He called it Big Bertha. He named that amp Big Bertha. And whenever we would sing, he wanted Big Bertha on stage. That thing weighed a ton. It weighed a ton, but he wanted to hear that, and he wanted to hear that Gretsch. So rehearsing with him was another hectic situation. Very detailed. If we doing and I would play it. And he said, "No, that's not right." And I'm like, and I would listen to it and listen to it and listen to it, and I would hear it. I would play. That's Lord, I know you've been so good, right? And he said, "No, that's not it. No, that's not it." And he kept fussing with me. And then he said, "Listen to the end." He said, "Listen at the end." So I listened, and I said, "Oh." And if you listen closely, the guitar is going. And he had to hear that. He had to hear. I was like, oh my God, this guy is hearing everything. So it was hectic. So he would hear different things. And even like when we did Too Late, a song that he wrote years ago, it would change from a minor to a major in the middle of the song. It would change from a minor to a major in the middle of the song. Another song that Willie Banks did is called Things I Can't Change. Change from a minor and a major in the middle of the song. So theory-wise, it was confusing. I didn't know my theory like I know it now, but theory, it just didn't feel right. But you had to play that minor and then come back to the major and then go back to the minor. I'm talking about the root. I'm not talking about the 4 or the 2 or the 3. I'm talking about the root. So we playing in A, we go from A major to A minor in the middle of the song. And that used to trip my mind out because I'm like, this something don't feel right. But he knew what it was, and he needed to hear it. Now with the keynotes, we rehearsed some, not a whole lot. With the keynotes, we would do, one year we did 270 days in a year. So we were out on the road quite a bit. So we would do, I guess we would go in a hotel room. We would rent a hotel room or something, or we'd be out. We'll go in a hotel room, or we'll go to a church. We would go to maybe to a church and rehearse at a church if we were in the area. If we had somebody new, like when I got with the group, I had already been with the group, and there you go. I'm gonna see if it'll load. And Robert, that sang with the keynotes, actually was just joining the group, so we had to rehearse with Robert because his first concert was actually in Charlotte, But after that, we did rehearsals with him. I think Charles McClain had left the group, and Robert came on to sing that top part. But I'm gonna see if I can load this up. Okay, hang on, bear with me, okay? Stay with me, because I gotta do it this way, and it's gonna be kind of weird. So you'll see, it's gonna black out for you. Hang on, and I'm gonna have to load this here. Let's see. Oh, I gotta load it this way. Stay with me. And let's see, it's this one. Here we go. Okay, full. Here we go. Yeah, well, this is the house where I did my first rehearsal with the Supreme Angels. These houses belong to Howard Slim Hunt. And we rehearsed when I came here. I'm like, well, I guess they got a big room or something. But we actually did our rehearsal in the hallway of this house. This is crazy. And that would be Slim's house right there. And he stayed on the upper stairs up there. And his sister used to live in the house or the space below. And we would park the bus back over here. But this is 201 North Carolina Street. And Slim owned both of these homes. And this is where we used to do our rehearsals, or when we was going out of town, we would he would move the buses from back over there. Then he would park the bus over on this side. He would park the bus on this side of the street, right here in this area, and we all would load in. Me, Sugar, Greg, Al Dent, Tommy Seymour, Kevin Cloud, Freddie Berry or Papa Hightower, and we had Clifford Brower played organ or keys. We had someone else who would play keys. Can't remember who it was, but this was the house. 201 North Carolina Street. Famous Slim and Supreme Angels. Yep, they used to pull the bus out from back here. And his brother, he had a brother that lived in back there too. But they would pull the bus out from there and pull it around and park it along here. And this is where we would load up. Anybody who was part of the Supreme Angels, I know you guys remember this. This is a historic house, I'm telling you. Daniel Scott Jr. Daniel Scott's apartment would be that top one. He would have the top right-hand apartment. And Sugar stayed downstairs. Sugar's apartment was that downstairs, the lower right. That was Sugar would stay here in that apartment. And different people would stay on the left. It was a pretty big house. But yeah, that was Sugar's spot right there. And he would always walk. Sugar used to walk every day down to the corner, and there's a convenience store. And he would buy his coffee. He would have coffee every single day. I'm gonna get a closer look at the other house. I'm telling you, this brings back so many memories. I would see Slim come down those stairs. Everybody knew it was time to go when he come down them stairs there. But 205 and 201, he owned both of these homes on Carolina Street. Yeah, telling you. Brings back a lot of fond memories. Miss Slim. Yeah, so that was the house that we did our rehearsals and with the Supreme Angels, and those are the homes that Reverend Howard Slim Hunt owned. And those, I'm not sure who owns them now, but I recently got an opportunity to go to Goldsboro, and I just wanted to stop by and kind of reminisce, so I did that little video clip. But that's it. Listen, thank you guys. You guys have been amazing. It's 7:22. I'm normally off of here by 7 o'clock, but I did want to share this with you. This is I guess we can call it a special edition, kind of my history in quartet music. If you don't mind, if I can get each and every one of you guys to hit that thumbs up button to let folks know that we are really enjoying what's happening here, it would be a plus. I appreciate it. Next week, we'll be back to our normal schedule, and I'll be sharing some music tips with you guys. Do not forget to go to my website, kevinwilsonguitar.com, kevinwilsonguitar.com, and sign up for my my free mini course. Sign up for my free mini course. Also, if you don't sign up for the mini course, just sign up with your email address, so when I'm doing something, I can notify you guys of what's going on. Like I said, I got some things that's getting ready to happen, and I want to be able to share it with you guys before I share it with the world. Thank you so much for those who have actually taken the course, but for those who hadn't, and if you're catching this on a replay, chime in. I love reading your comments, and I try to respond to as many as possible. But I appreciate you guys, and I thank you for hanging out with me this Monday. I hope you have an amazing week. Look forward to hearing from you. For those who are interested in the summit, going to 2024 summit, our pre-registration sale ends on the 31st or the 30th of this month, the last day of this month. So if you're interested in registering, please, by all means, go to intgs.org, and get registered, okay? There you go. You're in there, Lady J. What's up, EL? Good to see you. Thank you again. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. This has been fun. Even with you guys laughing at me, it was still fun. Laughing at my hair, laughing at my Jerry curl. I do live streams every Monday from 6 to 7. So subscribe. Thank you, Carl. I appreciate that. You know, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing without the support of you guys. You know, and if I have one opening, because I get a lot of people asking me about lessons too. I have one opening for a private lesson. And that's, if you want a private lesson, then you need to send me an email at info@kevinwilsonguitar.com, info@kevinwilsonguitar.com, and in the subject put private lesson, so I'll know exactly what where to look for you, okay? Thank you, Hero. Thank you so much. Yes, let's go, Hero. Let's go. I look forward to it. All right, everyone. Y'all have a great evening. Have a great week. I appreciate you. Until next time.